Bourbon Barkeep, my name's Curtis, and the Remus Repeal series is here. It's been here, just never picked it up. Partly due to quantity. Obviously, the bourbon budget was blown at this point, but Tom McCarty very graciously donated a sample. Not this guy. This guy, if that wasn't clear. But graciously donated, just let me try one of my favorite series without the year, and we'll see how it stacks up against 8. The Remus Repeal series, I understand they got other stuff, but man, I'm a kind of a sucker for the bootleg series. I can't help it. I understand it's not someone you should look up to. Why they market George Remus, I don't know. But guess what? It's a classy bottle, and the story is very cool. I can't get around it. Series 9 out of Let's Go, one of the Ross and Squibb branches, if you will. They release these guys once a year, 5, banger, 6, I really enjoyed 7 and 8. Thought they were great. So thank you once again for donating a sample of 9. Very curious how it stacks up. Will I have buyer's remorse? Will I go out and buy it? I hope not. Gotta stay strong. Ultimately, George Remus, pharmacist, bootlegger, lawyer, murderer. I don't know. Allegedly. Apparently, he was a pharmacist. So medicinally, during the Prohibition, he would sit there and give out whiskey. You're like, this is the best pharmacy I've ever been to. Thank you. And then he would withdraw some of his whiskey, his bourbon, and then apparently every time he would just get hijacked. It's just a real shame. Real shame. And then somehow his whiskey would make it into bars and he would sell it there. Double dip. Why not? Winds up getting arrested. His wife spends all of his money with her new lover. Now, there's questions about, was he upset at the wife because of the new lover, or was he upset about the money that is just being blown through? Just blown through. What is she buying? I don't know, but rhymes with foolery, probably. So, his driver, he hires, kills her. He goes insane, allegedly. 3 weeks later, not insane, we're good. Kind of like an Antonio Brown type of situation where he's like, is it CTE? We don't know. But 3 weeks later, he's good and he's free. So, I don't know what we learned there, but should be a movie, I can tell you that. Some people say F. Scott Fitzgerald put The Great Gatsby around George Remus. I don't know, but that was my geek out for about probably too long. And you probably skipped ahead. So let's get these guys poured up. See, is Series 9 better than 8? Is this one you should pull? Because this one actually sits on shelves. Let's see. Quick dive into the specs, then we'll get into the part that everybody really cares about, the palate. So the engraved Glencairn is going to be Series 9. I'll throw up the mash bill. Ultimately, the average age of some of the bourbon with higher rye mash bill, if you will, is about 10.83 years old. So at $100, and I believe it's the 104 proof, the highest proof that they've ever put out, you could be talking a pretty actually good value in really the last 3 series of the Remus Repeal. So take that for what it is. Like I said, I do feel like these sit for whatever reason. I have always found them highly enjoyable. And as they start to sit, you definitely start to see them $90, $80. So let's see. Is it worth $100? Is it worth $80? Or is it just a full pass? So we'll do Series 9 up first. Ooh, like a nice toffee or butterscotch in there. Even like a baked apple with cinnamon. Yeah, I really like that butterscotch actually, but that baked apple, very pronounced, decent amount of oak in there. Tell you what, decent amount of oak, like I just said. I don't know if I cut that or not, so we'll see how that plays out. But in terms of the mash bill, I mean, you have 7% of it being 18 years old. I do love the transparency that they put in there. get you jacked up for some of the older stuff, and you actually know how much older stuff is actually in there. But boy, that baked apple, cinnamon, like a cherry cordial kind of going on in there. There is something that I don't think I've pulled out before in previous series. I guess we'll see. But there is like a nice toasted kind of walnut in there. Like there's a nice toasted nut. Take that for what it is. It's tough not to make a joke about nuts, but we're going to refrain. It's a new year. I definitely get some breakfast vibes. That usually I'll go vanilla. This one with that toffee or even butterscotch, it's tough not to go kind of this nice buttercream frosting. So it's bringing me down into like, maybe in like French toast vibes. A nice like cinnamon, maybe a little nutmeg in there. Man, what a journey. All right, on the palate. Whoa. A little thin on the palate. With it being that 104 proof, it's nice in the chest. Man, there's a lot going on. I need to talk faster. It oddly feels a little watery, a little thin on the palate, which is surprising actually. But what is on the palate, still that kind of nice butterscotch, cherry, a lot of like chocolate and coffee. And then as it sits on the palate, that chocolate and coffee really ramp up. I mean, it still kind of sticks with this really fun breakfast pour. And if that's your journey, if that was your resolution in January to have whiskey for breakfast, this one, it hits a lot of it at this point. So that's cheers to you. But nice oak. That nuttiness still kind of continues, but it is absolutely dominated by chocolate and coffee. Wow. Like I feel like after you brush your teeth and you get that just mint mist, chocolate and coffee. I'll have to test it. Maybe if I drink this for dessert and my wife doesn't see it, she's like, oh wow, when did we get chocolate cake? Why did you have coffee so late? You're gonna sleep like shit. I don't know, we may be onto something. All right, sip 2. It's a really weird experience, and this is gonna come across even weirder. It almost tastes like it floats above your tongue, like smoke on the water. It just doesn't really do anything to the palate. But the flavors that are left over, that are just on your breath, you're like, huh, kind of wish I experienced that a little bit more. That rye mash bill definitely pulls through to where just this slight kind of mintiness, tea kind of sitting on the tongue. But it is absolutely dominated by chocolate, coffee, a little bit of leather, and just a little bit of like toffee. It sounds like super rich flavors, but it doesn't stick to the tongue at all. It is bizarre. All right, let's do what was Series 8 like. I don't remember. It's been forever since I've tasted it, but I apparently really liked it because I'm pretty sure that's my second bottle of it. I love the series. I can't help it. All right, 8. Ooh, that nuttiness is not there at all. Just a nice caramel, vanilla, a little mint, that rye apparently shining through. Yeah. Definitely a little more standard. You still have your cherry kind of pulling through. Not much else. I mean, I don't need 10 notes by any means, but cherry, mint, caramel, maybe a little honey, oak pulling through, nice vanilla, definitely sweeter and less nutty than what Series 9 is bringing to the table. Touch more desserty as it kind of heats up in the hand here. I do think there's nice apple, little orange peel coming out. So once again, that rye spice I think is a little more, it's bringing me into a little more higher rye mash bill here. They're probably pretty similar to be fair, but they are night and day pours to where, which, do you want every bottle in the series to taste the same? No. But then there's that fine line of just an absolute right turn, and these did. I mean, they are, you would never tell me that these are the exact same, in the same series, if you will. I like the nose. It's wild how condensed the nose is on Series 9 over 8 and the experience what 9 brings to the table. But let's see what 8 has. That's good. Really enjoy that. Much sweeter. And you actually feel it on your tongue. So, pros. Little sourness as it kind of sits in the back of the palate there, but ultimately that vanilla, caramel, cherry, kind of tried and true from nose to palate. I don't think it's overly complex, but overall, I do think it brings a little better experience. The robustness of the nose is going to baffle me for days, and I'm not going to enjoy that. Enjoy the pour. However, it kind of reminds me of the cocktail bar at Parks and Rec, to where Aziz Ansari's character brings Nick Offerman's character to the cocktail bar, and it's just a bubble of smoke, and he pops it, and you just huff it. It reminds me of that. What a journey. All right, let's do Sip 2, Series 8. That way we have a full palate cleanse and see if anything else comes out. Series 8, much sweeter. The complexity is lacking just a bit on what Series 8 was bringing, but ultimately the sweetness, kind of this nice maple, toffee, and vanilla. That chocolate still kind of mixed in there, and just kind of a nice baking spice. I don't think it's heavy cinnamon, just a slight kind of rye tingle on the tongue. Doesn't flood the palate, but ultimately oak kind of mixed in there as well, as it just kind of lingers as well. Man, it's just such a tough comparison. I really enjoy what's in the nose, but that is just one of the weirdest experiences that I think I've had on the palate. And it's not that I hate it, it just hovers over your tongue. I gotta do it again. It reminds me of like the hot nuts. Like if you were to go in for a massage and it's kind of one of those homey places, and that's not a knock on them, but they put the hot nuts on your eyes and you're like, I don't know about this, but then somehow it soothes you. Hot nuts. It's great. Brings you in a massage, why not? I don't know. I can't communicate anything else, so now I'm just stalling. All right, census categories. Since it's from 2025, but I experienced it in 2026, I don't know what we're going to do. But for now, we're at least going to score it. Man, it is wild. Just toasted walnuts and toasted cashews with chocolate and coffee. Breakfast. All right, census categories. Let's wrap this puppy up. It's good. It's good. I can't put it outside of that. It's definitely not highly average. I think the problem is I really love an experience when it's in the glass. I definitely heavily weight palate experience, and it's just lacking. It's lacking in that level, and it's just really bizarre. So I'm going to go 69. I think the flavors are really good. I think that it brings me a little bit into not Jim Beam peanut, but Jim Beam always has kind of that nuttiness to it. It brings me into that. And I think if I was blinding this, I didn't know, I would be pretty shocked that it was MGP, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go 69. Once again, you're talking highly pleasurable. Some would say the best number of the group, especially a pleasurable. So take that for what it is. I don't know if I would pick it. It's just over 8. It's just so different. And I think it's just too different from what 7 was, where it still had this nice cinnamon, baking spice, and cherry. 8, kind of along the same path. And this was after the wife was allegedly shot by the driver. Just hard right. You're like, that can't be right. That can't be good. And somehow you look at it, and I don't know. Kind of feels weird to put it in pleasurable when you compare it to that. Now, bang for the buck, $100. The age is there, the proof is there, the experience definitely lacking. It doesn't cling to the palate at all somehow. I just can't get over it. This is taking too long. I'm gonna go 52. Bang for the buck. The specs are there. It checks a lot of boxes. If you like hot nuts, chocolate, coffee, and butterscotch, this is a great ride. If you like smoking your drinks, because that's kind of what it feels like I did. Wrapping this up, Tom, once again, I do greatly appreciate you donating the sample. This was one that I definitely had on my radar. Will I buy the bottle? No. But ultimately, I got to try it. It's one of my favorite releases. I don't know. We'll see what they do with 10. I mean, Series 10 could be like 5 to where, for whatever reason, I think it was an anniversary, 5 was like a unmarketed banger. It was like, hey, we put in like special stuff and we're not going to tell anybody. Maybe 10's that this year. So definitely going to keep an eye out for it. But thank you for letting me try it. Like, subscribe, and let's see what else we got.